First one, be prepared. If you're going to a networking event, you know, not be prepared just, having, the iPhone charged and kind of being ready on who you want to meet. And we'll talk about one of our principals' goals, but have a mindset of being prepared. Networking needs a PR manager because it's got this image and this feeling that it's pretty intimidating. There's some people that really don't like the network. And they hear that word, they start to freeze up a little bit. So be prepared with a mindset, and I'm going to help you with that mindset on how to be prepared. First, have a goal. Principle number two of our 21 fitness principles, and you'll start to see how these start to intermingle. Have a goal, and that goal could be as simple as I just want to chill. I just want to meet some people. I've been isolated in my dorm room and I just want to get out, and I have no specific agenda on what I need or what other people might need. I just want to just go and have some hors d'oeuvres and just kind of chill. That could be a goal. It could also be a goal that you want to meet at least three people and want to have a follow up with them. Maybe you're networking for a job and you're at a job fair. So it's all situationally based, but have a goal. And the next tip would be a host. Be a host. So what I mean by that is when you go to a networking event, especially one that you don't know the people, it is intimidating. Who do you talk to? And these four people over there grouped up, and so you could literally be the host, even though it might be hosted by your alumni, or it might be hosted by your college, or it might be hosted by the American Marketing Association. You could start to greet people as they come in the door. There could be somebody off in the corner, or we call them wallflowers, did at one point in time. You could walk over and introduce yourself. And so that takes the pressure off of you to who do I talk to? What do I say? Nobody's coming up and talking to me. So you could literally, even though you're not sponsoring the event, you could be the host. Next one, prepare conversation starters. I have people that often say, Dan, I don't know what to say. Well, here's an acronym that might help. FORD, FORD. And it stands for, in the networking context, friends, occupation, recreation, and dreams. So, based on who you're with, you could ask them, what is it that you do for a living? Or what is it that is your passion? We talked about interesting things and talked about what people do in terms of basketball and sailing and hiking. So, that's a conversation starter. Friends or family, occupation, recreation, dreams. Think of Ford as a conversation starter, or another word for it is icebreaker. Next one, help others. Help others. And that goes back to our quote, right, from Ralph Waldo Emerson is you're really there to help others. Now, innately, we are wired to want to help ourselves. I mean, that's just human nature. It's not being selfish. So you have to get out of that comfort zone of how do I get a job? How do I meet an employee? And just get into a mindset of what is it about them that I want to understand to be able to help others? Because again, one of the greatest compensations of life is that by helping others, you can't but help yourselves. It's magical. And it does take you trying to get a little bit out of that comfort zone because we are wired to want to naturally protect ourselves and take care of ourselves. Next one would be elevator pitch. Anybody, just show of hands. Anybody heard that term, elevator pitch? Yeah, it's pretty common. It started in New York City, where somebody's on the second floor. It's 40, 42 floor building. And, the gentleman gets or the lady gets on the elevator and she has between the second floor and the 42nd floor with this executive to convince them why they ought to do whatever their agenda might be. So the elevator pitch actually is important, and it doesn't have to be rote. It doesn't have to be something that is uncomfortable to say, but you need to know the four pieces of it because you can apply these at different points. Who are you? What do you do? Why are you unique? And how do I learn more? Those are the four basic pieces. Now, you don't necessarily have to do them in order, but somebody might say, I already know you. How do I learn more? How do I, um, you know, research and take the next steps? Because I am interested in what you're saying and what you're doing. But I'll give you just an example in terms of the pure 1, 2, 3, 4 with myself if somebody would meet me at a networking event. And I would say, my name's Dan Williams. That's who I am. I'm the founder of the New Heart for Life community. The New Heart for Life community is an organization of global ambassadors that help others to live a fit and quality life. That's interesting, Dan. But what's different about you and the New Heart for Life community? Well, I personally underwent open heart surgery and died twice on the table and learned a valuable lesson from that bottom. And I went on to never want to not I went on never to want to have my children without a dad. So I personally pursued my passion of running and went back and achieved silver, gold medals. And I compete today nationally and I participate in international meets and written a book, 21 Fitness Principles, so that others have a path to take their journey from their bottom to where they want to go. And with that, can back up a couple. We're on leverage. Um, with that, I would say, and if you would like to learn more, we have a Linktree site, and you would just go to that, and you have our videos and be able to sign up for our book. So that's kind of a very fast way of saying it, but you could actually take any one of those. But keep in mind, in terms of number one, being prepared, that somebody's going to ask you, what do you do? Why are you different? How can I learn more? To have preparation for that and be ready for that. Okay, Lila, next slide. Leverage digital and social media. So, business cards are still very much, I mean, I don't think they've gone out of style. I mean, there are business cards, but the world has changed. We have now digital assets in order to help us to communicate. And I'll next slide show you one of those digital assets that you could do. This was one that I just did on Canva. And this can be done with a smartphone. You can send them an email, but that QR code, if anybody wants to take a picture of that QR code while they're looking at their monitor, it will take you to our Linktree site. So it's a very efficient way to leverage technology. Next slide. Listen. Say no more. Next slide. Follow up. So the most 9 out of 10 people that I would come across, I'll have a great conversation with, and there'll be no follow up except if I do it. So I make a point of intentional, one of our principles, to intentionally follow up because most people will leave a networking event and they'll just be exhausted and they'll have 15 cards, if not 150 cards, and they'll just not remember what's happening. So be specific in a mindset of who you want to meet. And if you meet somebody that you really want to follow up with, yeah, just head over to the side of the room, take a couple notes, and make sure you follow up with them. And that alone will differentiate you from other people that network.